Hey everybody, it's Sarah, and welcome back to the Scrappery. Today I have my very first layout using the brand new Blair Kits, which contain a lot of the gorgeous Maggie Holmes Chasing Dreams and a little bit of the equally beautiful Create Paper Oasis, a little bit of stuff in there from that. So anyhow, I'm going to start off with a little 8.5 by 3 piece of that beautiful pink pattern paper with some leaves on it. And the only thing I really grabbed from my stash were a couple resin flowers and then that one little piece of, I think it's Maggie Holmes Open Book. It's like a 1 inch by 8.5 by 11 kind of, it's almost like book paper or dictionary paper. It's vellum with some printed gold on it. That was the only thing I grabbed from my stash. So then I just ran that through my sewing machine with some white thread on it, just one strip. I was kind of contemplating doing a second, but my sewing machine, the tension's a little tight and it kind of made my paper buckle a little bit, so I decided not to go for a second spin through the sewing machine there. So there I'm just ruffling up the edge just a tiny bit, and then I did get a big dab of something black from my finger on the paper. So that's a good clue or a good tip there. If you have a white marker around, just use a little bit of a white marker to get rid of that. So here is a beautiful Cambridge lace doily that's going to come in your kits. And that is a 3x4 picture of my oldest daughter right before her piano recital, which I believe was June 6th. So a little bit more than a month ago this was. And I'm just going to use some of my larger pop dots to pop the picture up so I can tuck some bits of ephemera behind the picture there. I've had a few pieces picked out because I was kind of shooting for those same colors that are in there, kind of the muted pink, a little bit of the peach, teal, white, those kind of colors. I was trying to avoid the hot pinks altogether. In fact, you can see a little bit of a hot pink flower on the top of my daughter's dress. I'm even going to cover that a little bit because I thought that hot pink was just a little bit too bright for the layout that I was doing. So there I'm just tucking a few pieces of the ephemera behind the picture there, and I was on the phone, sorry about that. And I think I'm going to go for a mixed title again. So I'm going to kind of grab my stuff that I've got, and I love to do mixed titles. So either like a scripty word thicker and then some normal glitter thickers, or some sort of scripty word and some sort of thickers. That has been kind of my go-to combination lately. So I'm just going to kind of rummage through what I've got from my collections here. And I think I'm going to end up using that happy. For a while I toyed with doing happy place, but then I didn't really have anywhere to put those really thin gold Oasis letters. They weren't really going to sit very happily on top of that happy word. And as you saw, I did pop up the back half of that happy with some pop dots. And here I'm going to use this kind of pinkish, well, pink and like very light muted pink to cover up the hot pink on my daughter's dress. So I was going to say happy place, but then I didn't like that place had nowhere to sit and they were both script, and I don't like to mix script or two kinds of scripts. I like to mix script and thickers. So I decided to go with Happy Day. I was going to do Happy Days, but that's kind of a old cheesy sitcom in the United States from like the 80s. So I thought, oh, I'm not going to do Happy Days. I'll just do Happy Day because it was a very happy day. It was almost the end of school, and my daughter had practiced really, really, really hard for her recital, and she did so amazing. I was very proud of her. And we were just kind of messing around in the backyard after we were kind of done getting ready, and I did a few shots of my girls on the portrait mode on my iPhone, and they turned out really, really, really well. So that's just going to say happy day, and here I'm going in with some more white gel pen to kind of cover up whatever I smudged on there. That was bugging me. And then I'm going to go in for a tiny word sticker that comes in the kits. And I decide on kind of another almost like muted pink one that says, "You are the best," or something like that it says. And then I was going to use maybe another, yes, I did go with another label because I wanted to bring in more of that beautiful gold foiling in another spot in my layout. And then, because I thought it needed even more gold, because hey, you can't have enough gold in my opinion, and I wanted to use more chipboard for more dimension, I grabbed that round chipboard. And then these were the resin flowers I grabbed from my stash. I do end up taking that teal one off because it just got to be a little bit too heavy up there. So I'm going to pick that teal one off. And then there's a darker pink one from my stash. And I decided not to go with that one either because that was just too dark pink. That was kind of the color that I was trying to avoid. So now I'm going to rummage through again so you guys can kind of see my creative process a little bit so I don't put everything together before I start filming. I did kind of want to have more of an organic layout for you today so you guys could kind of see my thought process. That was just me going back in my album on my phone to see what day this was, and it was June 6th. So I'm going to grab my Pebbles roller date stamper and get a good stamp of that and then do a couple of off stamps, which I love doing. That just will never get old to me. Never. So now I'm going to look at my puffy stickers because I like to use several different elements. Like I used 2 different kinds of thickers. I used tiny word stickers. I've got a puffy sticker. I've got resin. I've got normal paper ephemera. I just like to get a very multi-textured type of layout going. And now I did dive into my stash a little bit for some enamel dots because I wanted to pick up the teal of those leaves up there. And as you saw, I kind of held my enamel dots up to my paper to try to match some enamel dots to that pink. I very much lately have found myself scrapping by color, and I tried to stick with just my pinks, my teals, black and gold and white on this one, and not stray too far and use the whole broad spectrum of the colors that are in that Chasing Dreams collection, because I think you can get a little lost when you put all of those colors on a layout. I like to kind of stick to like 4 or 5 colors. And now I decide that I do indeed need a little bit more of that beautiful gold foiling. So I grabbed another gold foil heart and put it down there. And then I stuck to the same 3 type of enamel dots. 2 Kaiser Craft gems and rose, 2 teal enamel dots, and 2 very light, kind of a dusty pink enamel dot. And here I'm just going to go through the little bits of the kit and see what else I want to add. I contemplated adding another rose, but I thought that might get a little bit too heavy up on the top again. And just going to I try a few more things. I add another one of those guys, and then I do add that white and black striped heart up on the top, kind of at the bottom. But then that was kind of messing with my eyes, and it didn't, because there was some black behind it, it didn't quite look like a full heart, so I decided against him. And I do decide I need another pop dot over there because I was getting my sticker stuck on the bottom of my Cambridge doily there, and that is no good. So I got another doily on there. And then I decided to go for my good old Heidi Shine, my good old gold Heidi Shine standby that I always use. So I covered up my picture with an extra piece of ephemera that was about the same size. And I'm going to give this some really nice, big, thick, heavy splatters in gold. And that is going to do it, ladies. So I hope you're enjoying the Blair kits. I hope you've all gotten them in the mail. And as always, look for a new video from me next Wednesday in Australia, Tuesday in the US. Here are some close-ups. And I hope you all have a great crafty week. Bye-bye.